Alright guys, I am back with my review of this week's episode of The Walking Dead Season 3, Episode 2, Sick. And I did enjoy this week's episode. A couple surprises here, but overall, very good episode. A lot of downtime talking about Hershel though, but that's how this show is. And I'm not surprised, but it had a lot of great stuff in it. And it starts off with Rick and the others, and they have Hershel. And they see the prisoners, they run, they take a table, they use that to get Hershel out of there, and they just completely ignore the prisoners. So they open the doors, that way they can get Hershel back to the cell block. And I was expecting all these zombies because I could have swore that's what was behind the door last week, but now there's just 2 zombies. So they make it back to the cell block pretty easily. And the prisoners follow them, so they're unlocking the doors to the cell block, and they got one and they got another one, and they don't lock them back, even though they know the prisoners are following them. So they get back to the cell block, and they talk to the prisoners a little bit, and apparently they've been in this cafeteria for almost a year, and have no idea what's been going on the outside. And they explain to them about the walkers and how they've taken over everything. And there's really nothing left anymore. So of course this comes as a surprise to the prisoners, and they make a deal that what they're going to do is they'll help them clear out another cell block. This way the prisoners have somewhere to go, and in exchange they give them half of the food in the cafeteria. So they teach them how to start killing the walkers, and one of the prisoners gets surrounded. He kind of goes off on his own, and he gets scratched in the back. So obviously they're going to have to do something about this. They don't really know what to do, and Rick says there's nothing we can do. He's going to turn into one of them. And the leader of the prisoners just grabs this axe weapon and starts beating the guy in the head. He's just going to kill him. He's got no problems because he's obviously a violent criminal. So Rick sees this, and he's instantly concerned about this guy, and I'm thinking this guy's going to be trouble. And I was just thinking how ironic it would be if he got bit like immediately after he just killed his own guy, his own friend. If he got bit and then someone had to do that to him, he'd probably be like, oh shit. But it cuts back to the other group, and we see Carl, and he's come back with medical supplies from the infirmary. And Lori is pissed he went off on his own. And I'm thinking, you didn't even know he was gone. Don't start trying to be a parent now. I mean, this entire show, Carl's just run away and done whatever the hell he wanted. And nobody ever wonders where he is. So you can't really be surprised now. You're in a prison with cells, and you have no idea where your son is. I mean, seriously, this is just ridiculous now. So yeah, back to the other group. Oh, actually we see Cheryl, and she's with Glenn, and she has this plan because Hershel is out of commission for a little while. She's going to go get a cadaver, kill a zombie, and practice doing a C-section on the zombie so that she can do that in case Lori needs one. And Glenn helps her. She kills a zombie, and he leads these 4 other zombies away so that she can get to the body. And I'm thinking, why not just kill the others? They're all at a fence. I mean, it would take 3 minutes tops to grab a stick and stab each one of them in the head. So I have no idea why he felt he had to lead them away. If it was me and I had any opportunity to kill zombies and just dwindle their numbers with a melee weapon, completely safe with the protection of the fence in between me, I would take every opportunity to kill the zombies and just try and take their numbers down a little bit. But he leads them away, and she goes and she gets the body. So it cuts back to the others, and they're helping the prisoners clear out a cell block, and the leader of the prisoners swings a little too close to Rick while they're fighting zombies, and Rick has to dodge, and he's like, whoa. And the prisoner's like, shit happens. So I'm really thinking, damn, this guy is going to be trouble. So afterwards, after they clear out this cell block, Rick is staring at the guy. and they're kind of having a stare down moment. And then Rick kills him. Like, this character who could be a big villain for them is already dead. I mean, he gets his first words, his first lines on the show in the same episode he dies. So I was very surprised by this, but I have to admit it was pretty badass that Rick just did that. I mean, I'm sure a lot of other people have been watching the show from the very beginning and saying, damn, Rick is just too soft. I don't really see him that way. I think Shane was too much of an egomaniac, but the fact that Rick did this was a good call, because you can't really trust him, and what are they going to be, neighbors? So it made sense, and he killed this guy. But then the other guy runs off, one of the other prisoners, and Rick chases after him. And this poor guy runs into a group of walkers, and Rick sees this and just shuts the door behind him. He leaves this guy to die, basically. So I thought this was pretty evil, actually. I didn't expect Rick to be that heartless, but he definitely was pretty heartless in this action here. Just because this guy never really did anything bad, and he was probably just afraid they would kill him, and so of course he's going to take off running, and he just shuts the door and lets the guy fend for himself with absolutely no weapons and surrounded by a group of walkers. When he comes back, he sees the other two prisoners, and he ends up letting them live, but he just takes them to a cell block and says, okay, this is where you're going to live now, and they really have no means of survival either, so they're kind of just going to fend for themselves, but I guess at least they're alive. So yeah, Rick goes back to the group, and he's telling them what's going on, and that everything's okay, and they find out Herschel's fine. They spent a lot of this episode going back and forth. Is Herschel going to make it? Is he not going to make it? He's fine. And then we see Cheryl practicing the C-section on the zombie, and someone watching from the bushes. Don't know who it is, but someone is spying on her. So it was a pretty good episode. I liked it. It had a lot of good action here, and I was surprised that Rick just took out the prisoners already. I mean, there's really no threat from them anymore. It's just the two guys who were the nice prisoners, and everybody else is dead. So I guess we'll see what happens next week. Probably going to be more on that other girl with the two zombies on chains, and Andrea. And I just know she's going to be so annoying this season. I just know it. This governor guy, I haven't read the comic books, but I think he's got like his own town that he controls, and I just have this feeling that they're going to come in there and try and throw demands around, and it's just going to cause problems and be very annoying. So that's what I expect to happen next week. But yeah, that's my review of this week's episode of The Walking Dead. Hope you guys liked this video. Leave your thoughts on this week's episode in the comments below, and thanks for watching. Bye.